In the hunt for al-Qaeda militants in Yemen, hundreds of men have disappeared into a secret network of secret prisons in the south of the country, where detainees are subjected to brutal abuse and torture and held without charges, the Associated Press has found. The AP uncovered at least 18 secret prisons that are run by the United Arab Emirates and Yemeni forces trained and funded by the UAE, which is a close U.S. intelligence partner. Senior U.S. defense officials acknowledged to the AP that U.S. forces have been involved in interrogations of detainees, but denied any participation in human rights abuses. Witnesses have told AP that some of these prisoners are then handed to Americans for interrogation in prison, which could put the U.S. in violation of international law. The United Arab Emirates government denies any secret prisons or torture, but in a weeks-long investigation, the Associated Press interviewed 10 former prisoners, as well as a dozen officials in the Yemeni government, military, and security services. This former prisoner, who requested not to be named, shows how he was tied up while being held at a prison in Mukalla for 177 days.
حوالي 177 يوم بدون تحقيق. التحقيق هذا الفترة اللي يجيز بس حوالي قريب 10 أيام اللي حققوا معي. وباقي الأيام الفترة هذا 177 يوم ونحن في ضرب.
He says during that time he was only questioned once about a distant relative. These renderings represent prisoners' accounts of a facility near the airport outside the southern city of Mukalla. Former inmates described being crammed into shipping containers, smeared with diarrhea, and blindfolded for weeks on end with their hands and feet bound. In a torture method known as the grill, former inmates described being turned on a spit inside a circle of flames. Others described beatings and genital torture. All of this carried out just yards from where U.S. forces often operate.
كان يطلع يحقق معي يقول لي مش داري على ايش؟ قلت له ايش تهمتي؟ يقول لي مش داري. يقول له ايش تهمتي؟ يقول لي مش داري.
Ali Awad Habib says he was tortured while being held at the prison in Aden. 6 months later, he was freed without explanation, later learning that his father had been detained on suspicion of selling weapons to al-Qaeda. A top figure in the Interior Ministry and a senior Yemeni military official confirmed that Americans have been questioning detainees, raising potential violations of U.S. and international law. 2 witnesses told AP that they've seen American interrogators. If the U.S. is using intelligence from or interrogating prisoners who were subject to torture, that could put the country in violation of the International Convention Against Torture, which prohibits complicity. It could also raise questions about adherence to a 2009 order by then-President Barack Obama that disbanded so-called black sites, secret CIA-run detention facilities. The Pentagon told AP that American servicemen would not ignore abuse, but defense officials acknowledged that Americans do participate in interrogations in Yemen. With UAE help, the U.S. has taken on a more active role in Yemen since President Donald Trump took office, with more than 80 drone strikes this year and 2 secret raids on al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. Meanwhile, at a protest in January, family members of detainees held banners in the street protesting the arrests. One reading, "Justice for the imprisoned, freedom for the innocent." Robert Bumstead, Associated Press.